Hello comrades, you are watching RedIvan Military. Yes, we changed the channel name. And today we'll talk about uniforms and equipment of the Swedish Home Guard in the early 2000s. My friend Robovich, or Joker W03 from Sweden, helped me with this video. So I highly recommend you to subscribe to his Instagram and YouTube channel, where you can find a lot of interesting information about Swedish military reenactment and even Russian. The Swedish Home Guard was born in 1940 in anticipation of the possible attack on Sweden, and initially they were structured in the detachments of 8 to 15 people formed for the potential defense of Sweden. Today this organization is something between the National Guard, territorial defense units, and even people's militia. In general, language barrier does not allow me to define better. Vikings, what can I say? So let's move straight to uniforms. In 1989, Swedish Ministry of Defense approved adoption of the first general issued camouflage uniforms called M90. People usually call this camouflage Splinter, not this Splinter, leaf pile, or M90, like the uniforms. This pattern was developed by the Swedish Defense Research Institute and is essentially a scaled-down Swedish FOA camouflage for armored vehicles, which is based on the German World War II pattern. Initially, there were 3 color variations of this pattern based on the terrain: South, Mid-Forest, and Northern Forest, multiplied by the badge color difference. However, in the 2000s, they were scaled down to one pattern to improve logistics. But uniform mixed in all 3 patterns can still be spotted to this day. Basically, if you want to know a little bit more about the pattern itself, I recommend you to go to see the video on the channel Uniforms History. In 2004, the desert variation came out for the United Nations peacekeeping operations. But this is not the topic of our today's video. Coming back to uniforms, finalized in 1989 and adopted as M90, in practice these sets were used by some units since the late 80s. And I even had a jacket dated 1989. But the full-scale spread of these sets began only in mid-90s, because government wanted to use the supplies of the older uniforms before issuing the new ones. Initially, 3 sets of M90 were adopted: M90F, field uniform that I'm wearing right now, M90H for helicopter crews, similar to M90F, but the jacket is bright orange on the inside, and M90P, Panzer, for armored vehicle crews with a slightly different jacket, trousers with suspenders. With the Swedish involvement in operations abroad, 2 new uniform types were developed: M90L, lighter set for domestic use in summer, and M90 TR, tropical, for forces working in rainforest environment. Similar in appearance to M90L, with slightly different pockets, but with thinner fabric and brighter colors. Both M90L and M90 TR have a desert version. Now we will take a closer look at my M90F set and my M90L jacket. M90 cap, baseball cap with a visor, and Swedish love to fold it. Velcro size adjustment on the back. Ear flaps with an elastic band are hidden inside. Note that some home guards in the early 2000s still wore M59 caps, which have ear flaps outside and are olive one-tone caps. In winter, an OD balaclava was used. M90F jacket. My jacket was produced in 1994 in Sri Lanka. Ranks should be placed on the collar. On the chest, on the left side, there is a platform for the reflective badge with a last name or other details. For example, I saw one saying team leader. 2 pockets on the chest, closed with zippers. Inside the right one, there is an internal pocket for CBRN counter. 2 pockets below, with angled zipper closures. There is a Swedish flag on the left sleeve, no pockets on the sleeves, reinforced elbows, and cuffs with snap buttons. The jacket is closed with a zipper and textured snap buttons. There is a light liner inside. There is one inner pocket on the left. Flap closes with a snap button. Drawstrings to adjust the size in the waist area and at the bottom. M90F trousers. My trousers were produced in Sri Lanka. Fly with 2 buttons and a zipper. Inset pockets with the outer flap with the snap buttons. This decision is far from ideal and I find it pretty uncomfortable. Narrow belt loops for the trousers belt, no back pockets. Wide cargo pockets with zipper closures. Reinforced knees. Zipper on the leg to take off or put on the trousers without removing the boots. At the bottom of the leg there is a synthetic reinforcement with an elastic band. A zipper is hidden under a synthetic flap with a snap button. On the back of each leg there is a platform for the reflective badge. On the inner side there is a loop with a snap button to secure your trousers over the boots. M90L Jacket. Classic collar. Velcro panel on the chest on the left for the Armored Forces tape. Platforms for reflective badges on both sides. 2 pockets on the chest with span compartments and flaps with Velcro. Strap for rank on the chest near the left pocket. No pockets on sleeves, but there is a Velcro panel on the right one for patches, buttons and straps for rolling up the sleeves. Reinforced elbows, cuffs with Velcro. Jacket is closed with buttons and Velcro. No inner pockets. The earliest I saw M90L on the pictures in use was in Kosovo in 2002, and the Home Guard in 2000s still used M90F. So why did I just show you M90L in this review? Oh, it's just because I have one, and because I can, and because I do not plan to record another video about it. Under the jacket they wore an olive t-shirt and olive sweater or an olive shirt from M59 uniform. I use an American olive t-shirt because there is no fundamental difference, but it is way easier to get. Socks are similar to American, made of wool, but I use American socks because I live in Florida and for our climate these are way better. But for this video I found original briefs. These underpants are officially issued Swedish Army underpants. The only difference, these are made in 2011, so for our video they are slightly more modern, but as you can understand, buying a used one is not an option. What about the boots? In the 2000s, Swedes wore black leather square M90 boots in 2 versions, marching and winter. They look almost the same, the difference is in liner. I don't have Swedish M90 boots, so I use IDF black leather boots of that era. Load-bearing equipment. In early 2000s, Swedish Army began to be issued with modular combat vest SV2000, the earliest being from 2002 production. And of course it was also used in the Home Guard in the middle 2000s, but most of the time until 2009 the Home Guard was issued with the 304K load-bearing system. It is an older system, mine produced in 1989. It consists of a belt and suspenders. Adjustment is done with some paper clip style locks It has two large ammunition pouches, which in my opinion are extremely uncomfortable and insecure. Just look at the closure with an elastic band. Magazines are already flying all over inside, and this fastening system doesn't make it any better. There is also a canteen pouch where I store my early plastic canteen. This is an early plastic canteen with 3 crowns. It is pretty small, but you can always eat snow, as long as it is not yellow. Cap is attached to the canteen with a ball chain under the rubber tube, which reduces the noise. More modern plastic canteens have bigger capacity and should have a gas mask adapter in the cap. Moving back to 304K, it could also be equipped with a bayonet frog, but I don't have an AK4 bayonet or a frog. There are also 2 adapters to clip on the gas mask bag, or in my case a utility bag, like in this picture of the Home Guard in 2002. The utility bag is pretty aesthetic, with only one compartment. It is made of the coated canvas for water resistance, closed with 2 classic buckles. On the back there are attachment points for your belt and for your webbing. Let's move to helmets. Famous Hjälm 90. This helmet is used by the Swedish armed forces since 90s. Mine was produced in England. This helmet is made of some kind of Kevlar analog with a nice rubberized coating. My helmet was produced in England in 1996. It has an early suspension system with some kind of plastic interior frame with leather cushions filled with cotton and foam. Straps are made of canvas with plastic furniture. As you see, it is hard to adjust this system to the wearer's head width, but the chin strap works pretty well to secure the helmet. The only downside is that this buckle is made of thin plastic, so I'm still not sure if I want to use it for airsoft, as it seems that it can be easily cracked by the BB. I should say that there are 3 different helmet sizes, and with my head size 57, medium size helmet fits perfect and can be secured with no issues. In 2002 it was decided to update the helmet's interior with a suspension system similar to the Norwegian one. It took several years to retrofit existing helmets in service and to fill the units with the new ones. So in the early 2000s, Home Guard had helmets with older suspension system. Now let's move to the covers. There were few types of them. Early version had additional ear flaps, like you see on this picture, which can be secured with the snaps when folded. The later version is what I have. This is 2-sided helmet cover. White side is for winter, and it is made of some kind of synthetic material for water resistance. Other side is made in Splinter camouflage pattern, and it is made of normal fabric. Also, notice these elastic bands for vegetation, like on the British helmets. This helmet cover was produced in Germany in 1998. The cover is fixed to the helmet with velcro on the right and left, aligned by the visor in front, and is getting tightened with the drawstrings on the back. But even tightened drawstrings do not hold the cover in place, so I also secured them to the suspension system ring. Nowadays there is also a modern version of this cover with an opening for a night vision mount. Body armor vests. In the Home Guard, body armor was almost never used during exercises, and therefore I do not use any body armor in my set. But in the mid-2000s, the following body armor vests were in service. Kruschiki, I guess I pronounced it wrong, so K90A, which is an olive flag vest reminding Pasgat and produced in Norway. And Kruschiki 94, yes, I just did it again. A body armor vest with plates is made in Splinter Camo, produced in Romania. As you can see, being a neutral country, Sweden managed to outsource almost all its military equipment production to other countries, which I find ironic, as it is almost impossible to buy a lot of this inside Sweden. However, it is relatively easy to find all this equipment outside of the country. Another interesting thing is that all original army-issued equipment should have 3 crowns, while some kind of reproductions usually have 3 globes. Firearms. In 1985, the Swedish army adopted the FN/FNC under the designation AK5, and most army AK4s moved to the Home Guard to replace old Mausers. AK4 was issued with 4 magazines. AK4 is a Swedish version of the German G3 rifle, but with local improvements. For example, AK4 should have a Swedish type sights having positions 2 to 5 instead of 1 to 4, and the first position being an aperture like the rest, unlike V-notch on the German rifle. There should be a serrated thumb groove on the bolt carrier to close your bolt like a ninja, and also a longer stock, because Swedish. But in my case, this is a regular Airsoft LCT replica of the German G3 rifle, and I do not have the clone correct features. If you want to see a clone correct Airsoft AK4, visit the Real Fake Guns channel. Ludwig did amazing job converting his LCT to a real fake gun. In my case, besides this original handguard, I added only must-have AK4 features, such as this detachable brass deflector, which was almost on all AK4s in service, and this vintage table sticker on the right side of the stock, which is actually a gift from the Swedish history enthusiast Rasmus. Rasmus, hello! Thank you very much again for this sticker, thank you for the channel support. Also, I added German rear sight, which is not Swedish AK4 sight, but still better than what the LCT offers. In 2003, it was decided to modernize all existing AK4s. The idea was to remove the iron sights and weld a Picatinny rail to the receiver to add aim-point comp CS red dot. This modification was designated AK4B. The Home Guard ordered 40,000 AK4Bs in 2003, and by 2005 only this modification was featured in all pictures. All AK4 modifications were issued with a leather AK4 sling. Unfortunately, I couldn't obtain one, so I am using original H&K black nylon sling, which can be spotted on the pictures of some Home Guards of that era, alongside with IDF slings, which I was very surprised to see, probably privately obtained. The Home Guard also used AK4 OR, which is a DMR version with detachable optics, Swedish production FN Mag, KCP-58B, where KCP stands for a complicated Swedish word meaning machine gun. Accuracy International Arctic Warfare Rifle, adopted by Sweden as P90, where again P stands for some complicated Swedish word meaning sniper rifle, and Glock 17 pistol, designated Pistol 88, carried in the Bianchi holster. Now let's see how it all looks together.
Боги, скальды и берсерки, меч пронзает чье-то сердце, умирают Тор и Один.
I hope you like this video, subscribe to my channel, put like, comment, share this video with your friends. If you want to help channel financially, links are in the description. Now we also have YouTube subscription and super thank you. And I will see you next time. Bye.
Погибли боги и закончился мир, а я опять дезертир. Что за прелесть эти саги?